This is a technical overview of the Beagle Plus generative AI legal chatbot that my team at Tangowork built for People's Law School. People's Law School offers public legal information to more than 1 million British Columbians each year. They have great websites, and they developed an earlier version of a chatbot in 2020. It's now iterated, and we now call it Beagle Plus. It's based on Gen AI. We're going to show it to you here in a second. My team is Tangowork. We're the AI partner for People's Law School, many other law-related organizations. We do AI consulting and integration. Let's get straight into a live demo of Beagle Plus. So if we go here to the People's Law School website, the chatbot can be accessed at the bottom. And I'm going to plop in a chat here. It says, if my landlord sells their property and the new owner wants to move in, but I have 9 months remaining on a year's lease, can the new owner give me 3 months notice? So we submit that, we verify that it's actually a human, and now Beagle Plus is generating the response for the person. It says if you're in a fixed term tenancy with 9 months remaining in a 1 year lease, the new owner cannot end the tenancy early, even if they wish to move in. And then it provides a link to an article on residential tenancy law on one of People's Law School's website. It also invites the person to explore options for free or low cost legal help. You click that and you see the options in line while the chatbot stays present. Now, we launched Beagle Plus to the public in February 2024. In the first 12 months, it's helped 7,000 people, and 79% of people have said that Beagle Plus was helpful. So, across all of People's Law School's channels, they measure the answer to that question: was this helpful? And you can see that the AI chatbot scores favorably. It's on par with websites at 77%. You can see that some of the high touch channels that People's Law School uses, like their webinars and their Q&A service, are higher, but it's also on par with the satisfaction of a legal professional, according to a Statistics Canada survey, the Canadian Legal Problem Survey in 2021. They said, the public said, that the help from a legal professional, the public found it 77% helpful. Now, uh, our approach to building Beagle Plus, well, we used OpenAI's frontier language model. At the moment, that's GPT-4o. We give the chatbot relevant content from our websites and tell it use this content to come up with a response. That's a process called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. We give it a system prompt. So that's like sliding in some information and saying, here's how we want you to handle requests in general. And we test and review continuously. So let's first of all talk about this relevant content that we have to give the language model. And it's helpful to understand that large language models do not remember anything you say. A large language model like ChatGPT is trained over many months. GPT-4 was trained over a period of about 4 months at a cost of about $200 million. And once that language model is trained, it's frozen in time. As you talk to it, it doesn't learn, it can't remember. So why does it seem like chatbots remember or that they learn? Well, in every interaction, we have with the chatbot, it has to send memory back to the large language model. Let me show you an example. I'm going to go back to our chatbot here, and I'm going to say, I have a court date Thursday. What should I know? Sounds like you have an upcoming court date. It's important to be prepared. Could you please share more about the type of court or proceeding your case involves? Okay, we're going to tell it small claims court. All right, preparing for a court date in small claims court involves a few key steps: understanding the process, preparing your evidence, plan your presentation, know what to expect at trial, fees and costs, and so on. And there's more links to different things that we can we can look at on our website. Now, what I want to show you is what this actually looks like on the back end. So we're going to go to our large language model engineering platform. We use LangFuse here. And here is the session that I've been having. It's been going on for 4 minutes and 25 seconds. And you could see the initial thing I asked, and my landlord sells their property. There's the output. I have a court date. There's the output. Small claims court. There's the output. So I can see my conversation now within here. Now, I'm going to go to this last thing we said, small claims court. I'm going to go to the source trace. This shows the full interaction we had with the large language model. So small claims court, there's the output. Now over on the right-hand side here, you can see all the things we're doing to actually compute the answer. First, we simplify the query. We simplify everything the person has said before we search our database. We simplify it, what to expect in small claims court. Use that to search a database. And then when we generate the response, look at all that goes into this response. First, we send it a bunch of instructions. This is the system prompt. I'm going to get into this a little bit later. Then we have a whole bunch of information that comes from our websites that we send to the large language model. Below that, we show the full conversation history. We send our initial question about the landlord selling property and the answer, and then the court date, and then the answer, and then the small claims court clarification, and then all of the information. So the large language model did not remember any of our conversation. It doesn't. That's not a feature of them. We have to send everything on every turn, every time the person talks to the chatbot, we have to send it all back again. Just as another example, if you ask ChatGPT who won the 2024 Super Bowl, it will know. If you ask it who won the 2025 Super Bowl, it will still give you an answer, but not because a large language model knows. It actually, you'll see, searching the web, it says, and it goes out quickly, searches the web, finds the information, and then generates from the information it found, because the large language model itself does not know. So because large language models have no memory, our job when we build chatbots, legal information chatbots, is to provide memory to the large language model. We need to tell the large language model, use our content to answer the question. And we can't send it in advance. We have to send it at the moment the person asks the question. And this has some challenges because the more memory we send, the more it costs. We're currently averaging about 3 cents per conversation with the user. The more memory we send, the slower it responds. There's a max amount of memory we can send too, but fortunately, it's grown by a factor of 16-fold while we've been working on this project. And we need to send that memory every single time the person says something. Everything the user has said so far, everything the chatbot has said so far, and then we send it 5 to 10 content snippets of relevant content from our websites, each of about 400 words. How do we do that? Well, we store a copy of our content in a vector database. A vector database is a database that speaks the language of AI, which is vectors, really arrows with direction and magnitude. Now, our vector database is powered by Pinecone. We prepare it every night automatically. It's encoded or vectorized using a service that OpenAI provides. Uh, it allows us to search on concepts, not just keywords. And currently, our database contains 5,204 records, each of about 400 words. It's very fast. Now, we maintain that database significantly by maintaining our websites. See, People's Law School, they did not want to have some sort of separate chatbot database that would require additional maintenance or any additional writing. They wanted it to just handle itself automatically. And so we said, no problem. We set up a system where at 2 a.m. every morning, a web crawler crawls our websites looking for changes. When it finds a page that changed, It breaks that page into chunks of about 400 words each. It vectorizes those chunks and puts them into our vector database. The whole process takes about 10 minutes a night, and there's no downtime for the chatbot. And this has been huge for People's Law School in that they don't need to maintain two universes of content, one for their chatbot and one for their websites. They just need to take care of their websites. So for your AI project, think about that. Think about, where is your content? How can you get it into a vector database automatically? How can you maintain it without duplicating effort? And I should just note that not all AI projects require a database. A database is required when you want the large language model to base its answer off of your body of content. Now let's talk about the prompt engineering that went into Beagle Plus. From a high level, here is the workflow or the logic of the Beagle Plus chatbot. First, the user says something. In this case, they spelled it incorrectly. Neighbor tree cuts property issue. That doesn't even barely make sense, right, to a human. The first thing we do is we combine what the user said with any previous conversation history, and then we simplify what the user said to its essence, which in this case is neighbor tree cutting property dispute. And we use that to search our database and return some relevant snippets of content. Now, if we find relevant content in our database, then we use a system prompt that tells the chatbot, go ahead and answer this. And if we don't find any high relevant content in our database, then we use a different system prompt that says, don't answer this question. Instead, try to direct the person back to something that is related to the law in British Columbia. Now, we'll talk in depth about the main system prompt we use. We find it useful, this acronym that the Nielsen Norman Group came up with. They're the expert usability firm. They said, write careful prompts. So care, C is context. Provide the context to the large language model. Then say the A, what is your ask? R, what are the rules that we need the large language model to abide by? And finally, provide examples. We find in the case of a legal information chatbot that examples aren't helpful. But if we needed content formatted in some very specific manner, like a number or a scale or a rating system or something, maybe we would provide an example. But for a legal information chatbot, no example is necessary. So let's break this down, what we did. So first, context. We tell the large language model, you are Beagle, a kind, empathetic AI chatbot from People's Law School. You answer questions about the law in British Columbia, Canada. Base your answer on the content below that is delimited by triple quotes, which is extracted from the websites of People's Law School. And then we provide 5 to 10 snippets of our content, up to 400 words each. Now, the A, what's the ask in what we provide? Well, the A, we tell it, you provide information and guidance to people navigating legal issues. You could discuss options and possible next steps. Then we say, consider how well the content below addresses the user's query on a relevance scale of 0 to 10. If the relevance scale is 0 to 6, you have no relevant content that can be used to reply to the user's query. Respond to the user's query with a question that helps steer them towards a legal topic in BC that can be answered by the content. If the relevance score is 7 to 10, generate an answer based on the content. So this is kind of a simplified version of our system prompt, but this little relevance score trick, we found this to be really useful when our database returns content that seems to be about what the user asked, and we just do one last check with the large language model. We say, hey, look at what the user said, look at the content we've given you. Does it answer the question on a scale of 0 to 10? If it's 7 plus, yeah, go ahead and answer the question for the person. Now, finally, in our prompt, we provide rules. We tell it, do not provide legal advice. Do not recommend specific lawyers. Link to the content in line with your answer. Always use absolute URLs. Answer with empathy. Write at a grade 8 level, Flesch Kincaid. Use Canadian English spelling. respond in markdown format, which provides nice, rich formatting. So that's the system prompt. Now let's talk about testing. Before we launched, we tested with 42 nuanced legal questions. People's Law School prepared a spreadsheet uh, that had questions all across a cross section of legal topics across popular legal areas. These weren't softball questions. These were nuanced. And through 9 waves of testing over 2 months, trying different ChatGPT models, different sized chunks, and different prompt adjustments, they evaluated the responses based on 2 axes here. You can see them really danger and value, or legal accuracy and helpfulness. So you remember that question we tried early on here. If my landlord sells their property and the new owner wants to move in, but I have 9 months remaining on a 1 year's lease, can the new owner give me 3 months notice? This proved to be a tricky question. And you can see that when we were using back in September 2023, ChatGPT 3.5, it was giving a very unsafe answer that was basically saying, yeah, the new owner wants to move in. Yeah, you can move in, which was not accurate. And then this was a bit of a tough one, and we went through several iterations, seeing that the chatbot was still providing an unsafe answer. Ultimately, it was solved in the chatbot that launched um, by by adjusting the underlying content. So that's one of the great things about our system here is we can review what was the chatbot thinking, what was the content that it was basing its answer off of. And so we can go through our engineering platform here and see what it was thinking when it generated the response. Now, we found, we go back here, um, when we were using ChatGPT 3.5, we were 70% accurate. With retrieval augmented generation, that brought it up to 80% accuracy, still not enough to launch. Even 90% accuracy wasn't enough to launch. But by February 2024, we had the chatbot up to 99% accuracy. This is using the latest model from OpenAI, using retrieval augmented generation. That's what we just went through, providing the memory to the chatbot and refining the prompt. Now, since launching, the lawyers at People's Law School have manually reviewed every single conversation. So as of December 2024, they had reviewed 5,400 approximately conversations and found that 5,300 of them were accurate. 54 were not accurate. Of those 54, we were able to resolve all of them. 22 of them pointed out areas where the content on our websites could be a little bit clearer. And we were able to adjust that content. And then the next night, when our web crawler runs, the problem in the chatbot is resolved. 4 were fixed by changing the underlying system prompt that we showed you. And 28 were fixed with that relevant scoring in the prompt that we just discussed, where we tell the chatbot, hey, look at the content we gave you, look at the question the user asked on a scale of 0 to 10, how well are we answering this question? This is a screenshot of the dashboard that People's Law School uses. In fact, I can show this to you. I'll just search here with some of the notable. The team of lawyer content developers at People's Law School reviews every conversation for accuracy and safety. And when they flag a conversation for improvement, they add to or adjust their website content or the system prompt to improve the experience for the next person that's asking a serious question. And now we are starting to use AI to review AI. This is referred to sometimes as LLM as judge, large language model as judge. And again, we're using LangFuse for that. And I can show this to you. So I'm going to go back to the conversations we just ran. So if we look at this one here, where we said if my landlord sells their property, notice over on the right, we have 3 scores here. It judged the question, based on legal adviceness on a score of 0 to 10. Did we offer legal advice? Next, it ranked it on severity. Is it how severe or serious is this legal issue? And it called it a 9 out of 10, meaning if we answered incorrectly, it could have serious implications for the person, right? They're making a decision about whether to perhaps move out of their apartment. So this is a serious one. Hallucination on a score of 0 to 10. Did we make anything up that wasn't in the source content? And we've been finding we're practically zero all of the time. Hallucinations have not been a problem for Beagle Plus. So this is a new ability that we're working with right now to monitor, to process all of the AI responses with another AI to flag things that perhaps a human lawyer should take a closer look at. Perhaps a human lawyer just looks at the serious legal issues where it's a severe legal problem and we want to just double check that anything that gets a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 that we gave an accurate response. And of course, if anything scored on hallucination or got a high score on, hey, you're giving legal advice here, then a lawyer would review it. Now, key takeaways here. Well, Beagle Plus is helping solve the justice gap in British Columbia with AI-powered legal information. 79% of users have said this was helpful. After manually reviewing over 7,000 conversations, we can see that we're 99% accurate. Is there a human lawyer who's 99% accurate? And every inaccuracy through December 2024 has been resolved through content updates or prompt adjustments. Now, if you want to create a legal information chatbot, here's a couple things to think about. Your job is to provide memory to the large language model. Memory is provided through a vector database. You want to automate your vector database so you're not maintaining content in two places. You want to manually test with tough questions, evaluating uh, was the answer it gave safe? Was it helpful? And then you also want to use AI to automatically evaluate risks. Things like, did we offer legal advice? How severe was this issue? Did we hallucinate? And that's going to assist you with your manual review. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to give me an email, chris@tangowork.com, if you would like help with your AI project.